Hi, I'm Mark Cleghorn and welcome to the Lastolite School of Photography, and today we're talking about the Hotrod Strip Softboxes. The great thing about these is that they're designed for speed lights, not for the usual kind of softbox for a studio flash that we're used to. And long strip lights have been a kind of a favour for many fashion and portrait photographers for years because it allows us to tightly control the light source. The cool thing about these, they've got two layers of diffusion. I've just opened one up just for a minute. You can see just inside here we've got the inner layer diffusion. That helps the flash get baffled before it then comes out and gets softened, and it's allowed to spread across the whole box. And as you can see from the different kind of positions here, it allows me to kind of change the shape whichever I want to do with it. So not only can I use it as a long strip box, but if I use it as a horizontal at times where the flash is still in a vertical mode, then in fact I can just use a very small narrow part of light as well, but that's a kind of advanced use of it. So it's a great bit of kit. I thought we'd just start off with the construction because once you get used to the new hot rod system, you'll be kind of using this wherever you go. So of course I've done the one side, it's just finishing off the second side. And we can pretty much arrive on location, be up and running with one box in around about 3 or 4 minutes once you get familiar with it. And then we're pretty much done. The last thing to do, of course, is just to get our bracket. Remember the tilt head bracket first of all, even though I've got mine attached. I'll put it on there one at a time just so you can see what it's doing. Let's tighten that up. And then I'm going to attach the lollipop to the holder itself, slipping that in, clicking that to there. And of course the last thing that we're going to do is attach our speed light. So I'm just going to take the speed light now, attach it to the top. Just loosen the connector just back a little bit, making sure that's nice and tight. And the last thing I'm going to do is now position the lollipop head to the position of the speed light itself. And that's our basic construction. Because the speed light is in the horizontal position, of course, that's the position of the softbox should be. If I want to move that to the vertical position, however, I need to kind of just tilt it around kind of thing. So to turn it around, all I need to do is just loosen off the head for a minute, push it into a 90-degree direction. And now, of course, just by loosening the tilt head, just allowing that to drop, and then locking that off on the tilt head again, instantly, we've got our softbox in the vertical position. So depends on if I want to use it as an upright position or a horizontal position. That's the basic construction of the box. And the best thing really, I think, is to get into the studio now and kind of have a look at how we use it. Remember, even though that we've got the ability to use the two layers of diffusion, that's up to us as photographers. If we remove the outer layer diffusion, we will kind of get a much more harsher, specular side of the light. However, I would recommend that you do leave in this inner diffusion layer, because that's really where all the kind of the work's being done to diffuse the flash more and allow it to kind of spread throughout the box. If you forget to change the position, let me just put that basically on there for a minute. If you forget to change the position of the flash, so in other words, we're in horizontal mode here now. If I hadn't turned that around, let me just push that back to the basic position again. Going to turn that around as well. So I'm going back to here. If I turned it around without turning the flash around, what I began to say was all you would have is a small section of the box being lit. There's a quick trick to that if you want to kind of add a little bit more diffusion to it. If we look on the inside, is to use the diffusion from the flash itself. Quicker to do it from the outside of the box, but just so you can see it from here now, we can start to see that I put the wide angle diffuser cap down on here, and that will give me again another softness to the light. So the great thing about flash is that it's under our control, but the accessories give us even a greater control of that light, allowing us to decide on how much the light is going to be soft and spread, or how much it's going to be controlled in perhaps the zoom and more specular. That's our decision as the photographers to make. So the strip boxes are great for location. They're available in 2 different sizes. Basically a narrow one and a wider one. It's really down to you. I run with 4 lights, so I'm basically got 2 of each size. if you're kind of trying to make your basic decisions, perhaps one of each size initially, just to control the light, just to have that extra ability to control our light source. Again, pretty much once you've got the product, you'll be into the studio or working with it on location, you'll see the real benefits of it. And with that in mind, I think we should get into the studio and see how we shoot with our model Jennifer today to create some really interesting portraits. Keep it. Check in, everything's there. Just looking down to that side. Excellent. That's lovely, just the eyes at me. Keep it. Not the usual family photograph that we're using the strip boxes for, of course. Our wonderful model Jen. What we're using here is each light to do one job. And the trouble when we're using very large soft boxes, they kind of do what we're telling them to do. In other words, diffuse the light source, please, over a very large size. And the trouble with that, even though we have a lovely three-dimensional wrap across the transition from highlight to shadow, what we don't have is the control of each light, because with the big soft boxes, even when we feather the light off to kind of come across the subject instead of directionally onto them, they kind of do merge together, especially if we're using 2 or 3 lights within the setup. But these kind of long, skinny soft boxes are all designed to kind of do one job. In other words, allows me to kind of light just one area each time. And we're using the 4 here to kind of just give me overall control of one light to do one job, as I was saying to you before. So these 2 lights, in fact, are opposing each other. They're giving us a beauty style of lighting, but this is my main light source, in fact. At this point, what we've just finished, this is my main light source. This is added in an accent light, kind of good and bad, but I can move Jen in and out of the kind of the soft boxes as well to change the quality of the light a little bit more. And then we've got the 2 running in the background, which are kind of separation lights. We're photographing against a black background anyway. I'm shooting in black and white, so it's kind of, I've got to make sure I'm doing it in camera, the separation, because unlike with color photographs where there adds a little bit more of tonality to exaggerate separation away from a background, with black and white, with really good black and white images, it's black and white. So I need to make sure that kind of the black of the hair, the darkness of the hair doesn't just melt in with the background itself. So I think the best thing to do for a minute, let's work with each one of these lights in turn and just see what it does in the setup. So we'll just switch off the receivers on 3 of them, and then we'll kind of just give ourselves that kind of setting up part. Perhaps we'll get Sam to give us a hand in a minute. So the first thing, of course, to do is my metering, and for one light to do each job, of course. Just going to meter off towards the right first. This is not my working, this is F9, and it's kind of giving me an exaggerated exposure, but I'm kind of going to allow a little bit of bleaching out of the skin. It's the kind of the classic black and white style of photography that I would have done years and years ago. So in fact, my working aperture is 7.1, and this is just so my JPEG will look like exactly what I'm trying to achieve. Now you can see how beautiful that quality of light is just from just that one strip, but because it's onto the side and it's more or less at a 90-degree position, the problem that I've got here now, of course, it's going to split light down here. But let's not make that a negative, let's think about it as a positive. So let's look at the kind of the transition of what I can do here. But if I want to move this light now to give me a frontal light, I can just control that. So all my lighting is mainly coming from the right-hand side. I've kind of got a front fill, but it's not. It's quite a powerful light going on in here, but I've still got a side separation light once more. So it's the building up of the light. This is, as photographers, how we kind of start to develop a personal style. There was an amazing photographer called Bob Carlos Clark that kind of influenced me in my youth and kind of just going from today. And if you get a chance, go and have a look at his work. Bob Carlos Clark, unfortunately, is no longer with us, but you'll see an amazing style of photography, and you can see what this kind of imagery is based on. So it's a simple use of small light sources to create the image. A little bit of a lean with the head, that's gorgeous. Eyes at me though, that's lovely. Once more. So what I've got is basically a 3 light bank running around the side here, a 1 light separation coming into the side. Notice as well how I'm using the wider strip boxes at the back for now. Why? Because I just wanted a little bit more spread of the light to allow it to kind of go across the hair, because it's very, very dark against the black background. So the 2 backlights are not being used at all. Let's use the strip. Just come forward to me a touch. Brilliant. Can you just take that one, the backlight, away just a little bit? Just a little bit, just so it's not going to seem. Okay, spread in the stance again a little bit more. That's cool just there. Let's do it. So now we're going to see the side light from both sides. And you can see we've got this kind of hollowness running through it. But what are we trying to do? Well, are we trying to bring a drama to the image? This is the decision that we've got to make. Or are we trying to create a softness to the light? We can see that the light in running down the left-hand side is nowhere near as powerful. It's kind of missing. Look, I've put it in the wrong space, in fact. I need to bring that to the forward more, because that completely missed it. Let me just shoot that again. That's the kind of the strength of these soft boxes. Very, very direct control. Now that's better. But we've got a horror style of lighting as well, haven't we? Because it's coming in from behind a little bit and from below a touch. And it's given us this kind of accented light that some people are not going to like, but it's just down to taste and style. That's what we're trying to create. So what else can we do with these little boxes? Well, the first thing is kind of we can bring you forward just a little bit. Let's take it out of the main light source just a touch. A little half a step backwards. That's lovely. Very keen. That's gorgeous there. Let's keep it. Lower the chin for me again. So, looking to me now, we can see it's just like the light's coming in from behind. That's all we've got going. But if we just take you back half a stage, whoa, turn your body around towards this light, lean the head on towards this side, turn the head around towards me as well. Let me just bring a little bit of fan. It's gorgeous there. Again, turn the head to me more. Excellent. Can you let this side of the hair go as well? Gorgeous there, screw it. Little lean of the head again. Eyes at me. Brilliant. Now you can see that we've got the directional light coming in from here, but you can still see that this light is still heavy on the cheek. And that's one of the things that you've got to watch out for whenever you're using this sandwich lighting, especially on women in a classical way. You don't want that accent light on the opposite side to be as strong, if at all visible, running on there, because it's just going to look odd. You better just switch it off fully. To complete that, if I wanted to, just use that light as a separation light and nothing more. Leaning the head, looking down to the touch, cool just there. Again, keep it. Brilliant. Again, lower the chin, love the chin. If you drop the chin and eyes at me, it's great. Again, it's beautiful. Keep it closer in. So you can see in that style of shot, that's totally different than we've been doing. We've now moved it from the vertical position. The speed light now is in the horizontal position. Even though I've been using the strip boxes on a kind of more creative portrait fashion kind of style today, basically you can use them any way you want. They're perfect for perhaps a child in a parent's arms or perhaps a maternity image. Anything where we're looking for a small sliver of soft light, that's really what these lights are designed for. And remember, these are being run from a simple speed light, so that means I can be anywhere in the world running it with a simple box. They pack away in a simple bag and allow me to shoot the style of photography that I want to shoot instead of being controlled by perhaps the same old softbox I've been using for years. So I'm Mark Cleburne for the Lastolite School of Photography. I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.